प्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक् प्राणश्चक्षु श्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदं माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनि निरते य उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Om. May all my limbs attain strength. May the body, the mind, all the sensory and motor organs and the life force attain efficiency and perfection. All is verily the one without second, absolute, ever perfect, ever blissful, existence itself. Let me never deny this truth of one without second existence. May this existence, this Brahman, never reject me either. May all the virtues necessary to experience this truth as have been spoken by the scriptures, may all those virtues be with me. Om, peace, peace, peace. Let us abstract or remove from our consciousness all the shapes to see, to experience this oneness. Let us feel that I am an ice cube in a huge tray of thousands of them. And it is kept in warm weather. I am aware of my shape. I am identified with it. I call it I. And all other ice cubes are thought to be different from me. I form loving relations with some and feel some others are inimical to me. but the ice cubes are melting. The shapes are going away. I am seeing that all is really one, the same substance, in all different shapes. According to the shapes, we give names. But it is really the one without second. Existence itself, consciousness itself, bliss itself. I am that. That state is that of freedom, perfection, bliss. Om, peace, peace, peace. So, dear friends, let us begin this 143rd class on this great text full of tremendous devotion as well as true wisdom, true knowledge. All the aspects of devotional life, like through duality or qualified non-duality or non-duality, you see the harmonious presentation of all these in this great text. And because it is presented through stories, not just through philosophies and logic, it penetrates into our awareness more easily because we like stories. So, through stories, these great truths are brought to us in this text, and we were studying the story of Chitraketu, a very illuminating story. But let us begin with our regular uh, opening prayers, opening chants. This opening chant is the first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So chant as loudly as you can. जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतश्चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि. That from whom creation, sustenance and dissolution of the universe take place, who is both the instrumental and material cause of it, who is omniscient, is the only one having self-mastery, being the one independent entity, who illumined the mind of Brahma with the Vedic revelation, whose wisdom is the wonder of even the greatest sages, in whom the world of the three gunas subsists, just as the combination of materials like fire, water, and earth subsist in their causes without changing their elemental nature, in whose consciousness there is nothing false. On that truth supreme we meditate. This Supreme alone has perfect freedom. And we feel that we are free, but we are made to feel that we are free. It is a hardwire neural network where this is an instilled property that you will feel free. Even though you see you are bound from all sides, you want to go somewhere, but the flights get cancelled. It is not in your hands. Or even if the flight is going, you fall sick, and so you cannot go. Many things, so we are not really free, but we think I am free. So this is alone free. God is the freedom. We feel freedom because our true nature is God. Another way of looking at it is, if we, as we were meditating, if we abstract names and forms, the shapes are gone, then there is no difference between me and God. It is because I am identifying with an ice cube, I think others are different from me. But I melt, and then I see the one all-pervading reality. So this is the one without second existence that needs to be understood, and that is the freedom itself. So, Chitraketu's story, we saw that he wanted badly a child. He was king and got a child, but through the blessings of a sage, Angiras. But Angiras had told him that you will not be getting actually a child. It is not in your destiny, but through my blessings you are getting, but it will be a very short-lived child. So, and as it happened, turned out that the child died, was poisoned, but that apart, now everybody is wailing and weeping, and at that time they sages again came, Angiras and Narada, and then tried to console and told that, well, these are earthly relations, they are not real. They are temporary. It is, we just assume, somehow we contrive to feel that this is I, this is my spouse, these are my parents, these are my children, these are my siblings, these are my friends, and so forth. But these are not permanent thing, they are just at most. They are real as long as you identify with body. And now, therefore, these wailing parents, Narada was telling them that why don't you now start practicing the awareness of the Brahman or God? Uh, Surrender to God, and that will solve your misery will be removed by that. Uh, that is the reality. So offer yourself, surrender yourself to God. But as human nature is, just by hearing from somebody else, we don't believe. They were still thinking that the child that died, that was their child. The child we have such loving bond. It is so Narada, through his yogic powers, brought that the child was, uh, his soul was brought there. The soul started speaking. And last time we discussed that what is a soul, that our personality is all really divine, and there is nothing but God. That is unspeakable, cannot be limited, cannot be described. It is that supreme existence. And then it expresses through everything, and all these have these five sheets, and that is called a jiva. That is embodied existence. An English translation, soul is one way of presenting it, or the embodied existence. So this embodied existence, it is the the outer sheath is what we know. It is this body. It is called the food sheath, because it is all food. Whatever we eat, it gets processed, and then that is what we call body. It is nothing more than that. So it is, then there is the further deeper sheaths, the sheath of the energies, that like the sense organs and motor organs that make the body move. So that is the energy sheath. Then there is the sheath of thoughts and emotions, that is the mind sheath. And then there is the sheath of intelligence. And then ultimately there is the bliss sheath. So these five sheaths, they are there. At the time of death, what happens is this. It is. We shall see this part later, but it is that in the when a person dies, death means the Annamaya kosha or physical body drops off. And thus, what happens is all the connections of the physical body will drop off too. And it is like if you have a bag and you drop the bag, then all the contents of the bag, they will also drop. So similarly, the body drops off, and all the relations of the body, they will also drop off. And then this soul takes the other uh, sheets and carries them to another food sheath, another body. And that is what is called rebirth. And this is gone, that is connected. So this is how the life goes like that. So when this jiva came up, there it started telling everybody. When the king urged that, please, speak to us, we are your parents. Here, see, your mother is crying so much. Narada also pleaded with him that, please, assume your previous form, and then your parents and all others, they will become so pleased, so happy. uh, Continue, and you will grow, you will become king, and so forth. uh, we are requesting you, Narada is requesting the soul. The soul gave this reply that I have been going from birth to birth, taking different kinds of bodies, from celestial beings to brute bodies of infinite variety, according to karma. Mm. New bodies are taken up, old bodies are discarded. Mm. It is like Bhagavad Gita gives the beautiful analogy of clothings. The clothings, they are discarded when they are torn, or if your body grows, so the old clothes won't fit anymore, so you drop those. So similarly, the body is dropped off and a new one is acquired. So that is the rebirth. So this physical body is very short lived, very delicate, very fragile. And its job is only like, we take food. And for taking food, we use, say, a spoon. You are sipping soup, and so are using a spoon to take the soup. Now, this soup doesn't remain much in the spoon. It goes into your mouth. The spoon's job is only to pour into the mouth. So the gross body's job is like the spoon, to collect the experience and put it in the mind. And then afterwards, the spoon is kept aside. It is, spoon neither tastes anything. It doesn't carry food, it doesn't digest food, nothing. So this body is only of that type. It doesn't have any more value than that. So it is, and then the karma, that say the food that is taken from the spoon, now that keeps on acting inside. So that is the mind and other sheets. They still, they are processing things. That is the mind stores all the actions. It is like you take a camera in your phone, take the picture, and now the external picture, it gets microprocessed, and then stored. So similarly, whatever actions are performed, they get microprocessed and stored in the mind. And according to them, now you get your next body. It is in Bhagavad Gita and in Upanishads, there is lot of discussion on this, how a new body gets acquired. It will take too long a time, so I am not dwelling upon that right now. But the Jiva says, all that, I have thus infinitely many parents in different births. I had different parents. I myself was a parent in different births. So which parent are you now talking about? Which birth? It does not make any sense once we disidentify from body, then my spouse, my parents, my so and so, my siblings or children, nothing makes sense. It is only with the association of body. So now, what Narada was telling now started making sense in the mind of this Chitraketu, the king, that, oh yes, it is true. When somebody, a sage, tells us, we do not refute it, we believe, but that belief does not penetrate much deeper. And so, there is the difference between believing and having conviction. Conviction makes us act. Our actions are guided by the convictions, not just the superficial belief. It is like we believe, that some place it is very scenic. The newfound land, somebody was telling me, oh, it is so beautiful there, very nice. Agreed, I believe you, but that doesn't prompt me to go there, It is, I believe you. But if somebody insists that one must visit that place, it is the best place, you have to go there, and yeah, if that person has a convincing power, that argument, then I think, okay, I will try that. So conviction is a different thing than believing, when it generates that conviction, it is a strong, strong belief. If you want to put it in terms of, with the word of belief, it is a very strong belief that will change your actions. So now, what happens, he understands these things, that this is how the rebirth happens. It is, the jiva tells that this is different births one goes to. The body drops off, you take another body and go. That's about it. It is like if you are, say, going by the flight, you go one place, then change the flight, go to the next one, and like that. So, my flight, I get down at one place, and then that is no longer now my flight. I will be going to the next one. So it is like that, one body, the job with that body is done. And then now I go to the next body. So it is like that. So it goes on till the need for a body is over, when you have arrived at the destination. Now you are not going to take the next flight, you have arrived at the destination. So it is when we arrive at the destination of the human life, the truth, the ultimate reality, then no more taking birth. So this is, till then it continues. And with that body, all the physical relations end at death. And it is that we, poetically we keep on thinking that, yes, like this birth we will be husbands and wife forever for all the coming births and so forth. Many Hindu women, they keep a kind of, yes, perform some rites for that, so that I will have the same this thing, husband every birth. Of course, these days things are different. Earlier they used to do. I asked one lady, She said, somehow I will see if this birth, that's good enough. Next birth, I don't think. So it is. This birth somehow, by the grace of God, it continues that much. It is. These relations, they are only, meaningful with body. The body is discarded, all these connections with the body, they also go away. They have no meaning. So this is a truth that one must realize, that how evanescent, how momentary these things are. And that is how, when we see, we develop a dispassion for that. We lose all attachment for that. We use that this birth, but for the proper purpose, and do our duties in this birth. Whatever relations we have, that say I am spouse to somebody, as long as this is there, I will be body, I will fulfill the duties of that relations, but without attachment. Somebody is my child, I will look after that child lovingly, caringly, but know that it is really nothing to me. It is just physical relationship. The body falls off, all the connections of it also fall off. There is no meaning to it. It is, so one must develop dispassion. I had mentioned several times that it is this analogy, that when you know something to be temporary, then you lose all attachment for it. Like I was assigned a seat in the plane, this is your seat, and I was using that seat. I was telling also, that's my seat. While going to this Dallas last week, so it is last. So I was. It was kind of dark. They had made so that people can sleep. So I was mistakenly going into other row, the previous row, and somebody said, "Oh no, no, that's not your seat. Your seat is there." So my seat. How long my seat? I am not, when the plane lands, am I taking it with me? No. And I do not get attached to it at all. I do not form any emotional relationship with that seat. So it is like that. You use that seat. You do whatever is needed from that seat. When they announce that the flight is about to land, that keep the tray table folded, keep your back straight, and so forth. Shut off all your these devices. So we do all that, as long as we are using that seat. But we know that it is all temporary, not real. That is very important to realize, that none of these relations are real. Our only relationship is with God. God alone is real. That is why that beautiful prayer that we recite, although we don't hold on to the meaning of it, God is being addressed there. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva, tvameva bandhuscha sakha tvameva, tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva, tvameva sarvam mama deva deva. Have you heard this prayer, Ishani? Yeah. What does it mean there? That you are alone my mother. You are my mother, you are my father. And you are my sibling, you are my friends, you are my everything, all my learning and all that. You are that. So, because others are just forms, they come and go. So, we must learn, therefore, to establish that kind of strong relationship with God, who is the reality of everything. Otherwise, what happens? Like this king and others, they started suffering because now what they thought to be theirs is gone. Things come and go, and we keep on having disturbing desires in us about the unreal things. They never satisfy us, because how can you fulfill any desire about the unreal thing? It is not possible. So, therefore, one must see that the attention and love, all the emotions should be directed towards that which is real, which is true, and that is called God, and that is called bhakti, devotion. Devotion means turning all our emotions towards that which is, and taking it away from that which appears but is not real. Hmm? That is the bhakti, that feeling of devotion. Otherwise, it is ordinary love that comes and goes. All these relations, very joyous, as there is this picture, big family gathering. Now, for some time, it all is very good, that dancing and eating and all that, laughing. But then there are the fights, the quarrels, they ensue, and everybody has to die also. Things are gone. They come and then they go. So, these are relations, they exist only at the physical level. You cannot really bring them further. So, the Narada himself told that didn't make that big a dent. But when king heard the soul of his son, departed son, telling it, now that gave more impetus to it, more power to it. It generated that conviction. The king Chitraketu understands that these are all like the waves on the ocean. Two waves are together for some time, but each wave is, rising and falling. Unreal. The background of all that, the substratum of all that, that ocean is real. The waves, they appear and disappear. All these relations, they are of that type. It sounds somewhat harsh to hear, but whether harsh or not harsh, truth is truth. It doesn't bend itself, and we have to adjust to the truth. We have to conform to the truth. Truth doesn't conform to us. So that is how one should do it. The devotional path is easier. Same thing with the path of knowledge. But with path of devotion it is easier, because in the path of knowledge you are told that it is unreal, that's it, give it up. That is, and you will find the truth. In devotion, your attachments to these unreal things, you are told, change them to the reality. So therefore, it is easier to practice. Sometimes I compare it with, surgery. Now, if say some surgery is to be done, say in the tooth, gum surgery. So, with anesthesia and without anesthesia. Mm. Without any anesthetic means it is jnana yoga, yoga of knowledge. So you need that forbearance. That it will be very painful. So more or less everybody prefers, oh, let me have that Neoquine or whatever anesthetic, and then I will have that treatment, that procedure. Otherwise it is very painful. So therefore path of devotion is first giving you an anesthesia, and surgery has to be performed. That is, there is no choice about it, no option there. But this is the option, that either you have anesthetic or no anesthetic. So, with devotion, the pain is reduced. So you understand that all your so-called relations, everything is there uh, in Brahman alone. You are all connected in God. So, this is to be understood. So, God is my mother, God is my father. So, and look upon it like that. So, King Chitraketu now understands. And so now he sees this truth of it, and thus becomes ready, that he gets transformed internally. When somebody does some spiritual practice, the spiritual practice makes you transform internally, and you gradually start seeing, experiencing the truth. Now, what happens? The external shape doesn't change. That Holy Mother therefore told once that somebody asked, what happens to this person when you see the God? When that person sees God? Well, nothing happens. Not that he grows two horns on the head. It is the internally that person becomes totally purified. So there are no desires, there is the complete fulfillment and infinite bliss in life. So this is how the transformation takes place. Now Chitraketu was experiencing this transformation, and the first stage of this transformation is the change of priorities. So, as an ordinary person, where the awareness is that this world is real, I as the body is real, the priorities are, okay, let me grab more and more pleasures from the world, even if it is told that, well, this is what, after all, you are going to die. Don't think about it now. It is, let me enjoy this moment. Let me, death, everybody is going to die, but why should I die before I die? So it is, let me grab more and more pleasures from this world. That becomes the priority in ignorance. Get more wealth, get more, power, and so forth. So it is, that is where one rebels. But when you realize that this is not real, God alone is real. Now the priority changes now. Go for the real. It is because you suffer. It is this going after unreal. Suppose that you are told that this is $100 fake bill, and this is the $100 real bill. what will you take, Adya? Huh? Fake one? Huh? Real one, exactly. So that is how you see this is all fake, comes and goes. Why should I run after it? Let me make efforts to realize that which is real. So, what should I do for that? That question comes. And then Narada tells him, now he is ready to do whatever the Guru says. Narada becomes the Guru, as it were here, the great sage. He tried to tell him earlier. Angiras also tried to tell him earlier. But at that time, the king's priorities were different. I want a son. That's it. That was the priority. I want a child. So, no other words of wisdom could be heard because this desire was speaking so loudly that other advice was not audible at all. So, now that child thing is over. Now it is all subsided, the mind has become calmer, so now he is ready to listen. Sri Ramakrishna used to tell that everything happens at proper time. It cannot be rushed. Let that time come when the mind comes to that stage where now it can see the unreality of the world and thus will be able to grasp those teachings. Otherwise, even if you give teaching, nothing happens. Jesus therefore said, don't throw the pearls to the swine. The swine won't understand the value of it. So it is similarly, these great spiritual teachings become meaningful only when the mind comes to that level. Otherwise, they get just thrown away. They listen, respectfully listen, but will not go to implement those things because, no, I don't like it. You keep it with you, fine, it is, yeah, all the best to you. Very politely it will be told. All these ideas, yeah, they may be good, they may make sense. But you do it, I don't need it now. Yeah, so it is like this. Till the stage comes, we cannot implement them. The king, therefore, now is in a state to hear these truths after getting such a convincing explanation of the physical relationships and so forth. Now that disillusioned king now is ready. So that it is. So with the pleased with the devout king who had surrendered his self and ingathered his mind. This is a beautiful word, ingathered his mind. The mind that is all scattered with the things outside. Now that mind cannot meditate, obviously. It has to be ingathered, means some part of the mind is mortgaged to children, some to spouse, some to other relations, some to jobs, a lot of it to money and so forth. So, scattered everywhere. Now how can you meditate on God? So it is now what is to be done? Indrawn. It is ingathered. That all now see the reality. Take all the mind in that direction. It is called nivritti. pravritti is going out, uh, sending the mind in all different directions, uh, and because the goals keep on shifting and changing. Outside, the mind can never ever be fully one pointed. For 15 minutes, somebody was telling me, and truly, that I am such a lover of music that when I listen to certain music, I forget everything. I don't see anything. My soul becomes tuned in the music. The question is, how long will you be able to hear that music? Half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, then you will start feeling I am hungry, I need to eat, or some other things, because it becomes tiresome. For a long time, for a little while, you will do it, that's it. Yeah, so nothing in this world, howsoever pleasing and absorbing it may appear at one point, uh, you cannot hold on to it for too long a time. Because that is the nature of mind and the thing. What you like at one point, and usually you like it only till you get it. After you get it, then, as it were, the mind gets tired of it and drops it. You are not looking for it anymore. That is what happens in our all desires. For a little while it appears to be very nice, and then you drop it. So you cannot concentrate on any other thing except God. Somebody may be very absorbed in certain studies. How long? For a little while. For maybe some more time. But there is a limit to it. After that, the thing becomes not any meaningful. So the meaning is lost. But God, who is the reality, when that mind is drawn towards that, it being real, one can concentrate on that if the mind is ingathered. So now this is ready to be ingathered, and thus he was ready to listen to the advice. Take the mantra. Now this is a very important idea, especially in the practice of devotion. In the practice of knowledge also, it is getting connected with the teacher, the Guru, and Guru transmits the power through what is called mantra. So, one can read about it in more details in Swami Vivekananda's very small but tremendously powerful book, Bhakti Yoga, the yoga of devotion. There it tells about, having this power of the Guru getting transmitted through a mantra. Mantra etymologically means mananat trayate iti mantra. Means that which when you meditate with, it will protect you and carry you to your destination. It becomes like a boat. A mantra becomes like a boat that will carry you across this ocean of suffering. So, the connection with that Guru and mantra are very important ideas. So, here you see that he is now ready to receive the mantra. The sage Narada communicated to him the following meditation. And then it is the mantra we will just read. Om, salutations to thee who has manifested thyself for worship by devotees as the four vyuhas, the epiphany, that Vasudeva, Sankarshana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. These are the four stages of appearance. The ultimate is that as a human being, there is a question, many say that I am a devotee of, say, Ganesha, or Shiva, or now that is the Brahman appearing or symbolically conceived in that form. So you consider God to be the creator there, and that creative power you imagine, creative and sustaining power in one form. Now that becomes the symbol of it. But that symbol is we find it very difficult to connect to because of our identification with body. So we can have to have therefore a symbol which has some human features. A shalagram, shila doesn't have human features. A cross doesn't have human features. So the sages therefore provide, okay, look, this is the third category, that where you have now, say, Durga, or Shiva with, features like head and hands and, say, hair, locks of hair for Shiva, Durga, 10 hands or 8 hands. So this has some human-like anthropomorphic features are there. So we are able to connect better. But still not so easily. And therefore there is the provision of incarnation of God. There God, as it were, takes the birth as human being. So that is the best way that we can connect, because here is the human being who is born, who grows, who shows how to turn the mind to God, and all these things are so clearly expressed that by looking at it at that we can mold our life in that fashion. It is a demonstration. So that is why the avatar, incarnation of God, the human form of God is so important. So this is how he says. So but while doing that, one should not lose the sight that all-pervading divine alone has assumed this particular form. So, and then there is this prayer, O thou, the form of consciousness, thou, the form of supreme bliss, O thou, immersed in thy inherent bliss, O thou art ever peaceful, O thou divide of divisive consciousness, salutations to thee, he in whom bliss consciousness has abolished and all materiality, passions and activities arising from Maya. It is, that is how this description is given here. That is the mantra. He who is the great being that directs the powers of all the senses, he of whom the universe is an expression, to him the salutations. So when mind and speech, Narada continues describing this, that it is, and then after the salutations, he gives Narada the mantra. With that, Chitraketu's mind now has that change. And Shuka describes that. Then what happened to Chitraketu? He received the mantra, the procedure for meditation, what to do, and so forth. So now, what does he do with that? We have to see that, like when mantra and the directions, procedures are like telling the guidelines how you should proceed. And then after being told, the person starts on the journey. So Chitraketu starts on this spiritual journey. Its description, now the clock is telling me enough for the day. It is 8:27. So we shall conclude here, and in the next class we will try to discuss that how the transformation happens in Chitraketu's life. Let us chant this closing chant, and then we will see if you have any questions. निगमकल्पतरुर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्मुहुः रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. O devotees, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia from his words. Any question? Anybody, any question here? That in the corner, that Aditya has a question.
Swamiji, can you explain a little bit more about mantras and what's the purpose of a mantra according to Bhagavad Puran and other different kinds of Puranic texts?
Yeah, mantras, they are, different, but they all have the same meaning. The idea is to march towards God with it. It becomes a vehicle. And like if you want to go somewhere, then you need a vehicle. So mantra is a vehicle. So with that you reach, as I told that mananat trayate, what is to be done with mantra? That meditate. And thus with meditation you reach that destination. Patanjali says that how it is to be done, that japa, a repetition of the mantra, along with the feeling of the meaning of it. That tad japas tadartha bhavanam, that meaning has to be held on to, and then keep on repeating it. Like say, your mom calls Aditya. Now she has the meaning of this word Aditya when she is repeating it. That this young man, this my boy, that is Aditya. So similarly means there is the meaning to that word. So when the mantra is there, the meaning of the mantra is to be thought about. So as that process matures, one starts having the feel of the divine. So that is how the mantra helps. Any question upstairs?
Yes. question from Shubha.
Namaskar, Shubha.
Namaste, Swamiji. Do our Shastras talk about how a jiva selects a family to be born in?
Yes, there is lot of description. The general idea that has been mentioned here that we saw, according to the karma, you select your desires, and your karma will make you select the next birth. It is like, how do when today I was told that you have to get new phone, and then what phone will you buy? A new phone is to be bought, say. New phone, new plan is to be bought. Now, depends on what your needs are. It is like I was telling those who were going to buy, to have a hotspot capability is better. And we need hotspot capability, because many places that we go, sometimes there is no internet connection to be used for our these laptops and other things. So it will be better to have a hotspot facility to phone. Okay, you want this. What other features you want? How the camera, how many pixel camera do you want? The capability of this, how much storage and RAM you want. So, according to your need, you say what size do you want. And there is small size, there is big size, there is a double fold thing. You have choice. Which one do you want? Now you decide according to your needs. But not only your needs or your desires, how much you need to pay. If they say that, well, this particular thing, phone will cost $700, you may say, that's too costly. I can spare $100. Now, okay, so within $100, what you can get, that much you will get. So our karma decides the how much you can pay, and our desires decide our understanding about I and the world, what I need, and so forth. So the two have to combine, what I want and how much I can pay. If it is, if there is the no consideration of money at whatever is there, then your desires you can fulfill. But otherwise, that puts a slab on it. Your desires may be a lot. You may want to say buy something very pricey, but no money. Then you have to cut down. So similarly, there is the how one gets the rebirth, desires, and then karma. And karma, the quality means the karma currency is generated by working for others. Unselfish work generates karma currency. It is as in this world, when you work for others, you get paid, isn't it? It is like a doctor, if that doctor, say Tilakji, is treating himself, nobody is paying him then. But if he takes patient, and then that patient pays. So similarly, when you work for others, then you get paid. So unselfishness pays in that sense. It generates karma currency for you, so then you can use it. So this is how the next birth, which family, and so forth is suggested, is obtained. If you want to eat, say, a lot of food, then you will naturally select a body that has the capability of eating a lot. So human body is useless for that. You eat a little bit and you feel enough, then there are allergies and then stomach gets upset, so you cannot eat much. But say a body of a cow or whatever, that is, can eat lot, keep on grazing all the day, doesn't seem to get any indigestion. So you will take up a body of that type, a pig or a cow. If you want to trouble people, it is, yeah, I would want to keep on biting that fellow. That fellow tortured me a lot. Then you become a mosquito hovering around that fellow, keep on biting that fellow. So it is like that according to your desires and according to the capability to pay for it. So you get the body. Bhagavad Gita describes that if somebody had the desires to practice spiritual disciplines and realize God and so forth, then you get the birth in a family where there is this spiritual atmosphere, where there is, these things are valued, and thus you find it easier to inculcate those things. So you take birth in such a family which will facilitate your desire to realize God. Thank you. Any other question? So let us conclude with the closing chant. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल, कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल। मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल। Oh, there is some sweets kept out there. Our Charlie got some donuts, so he decided to distribute here. I am taking off the microphone because they are not available for online listeners.